the end of the summer garden for sure. Whoops. This beefsteak plant just threw a tomato at me. It just melted off the plant. It's disgusting and it smells horrible. Most of them ended up going to the chickens. And lastly, I'm gonna show you our weed garden. This is the world's ugliest strawberry bed. It's just awful. Hey, what's up? My name is Crystal. We live in Connecticut and this is our garden. It's August 29th, I think, 2023. And we are gonna just do a really quick garden tour. I started seeds last week and I wanna show you that they've already sprouted and are growing. Just love starting seeds this time of year because you can throw them in and they grow right away. We do have apple trees and grapes and things. I might do a separate update on that because I have a lot to say about how badly they've done this year. So I'm looking for maybe some advice and help with that, and I kind of want to do that as a separate video. But we're gonna get into it in here. This was our San Marzano bed, if you remember, and I had ripped out all of the plants except for this one, and it's still producing. But I have in here early summer crookneck squash already sprouted. We have beets. Some of the carrots in there are sprouting. I don't know if you can see it or not. The dark green zucchini. We also started ideal market beans from My Gardener. I've never grown them before, but those sprouted right away and they're quite tall. We also started the tender green improved garden bean. I had some growing here. They stopped producing because they were old and they produced what they were going to produce. So I cut them out. It looks like the new seeds sprouted. I wasn't sure because they didn't look very good in the packet. It looks like something ate this one. But that's good because we eat a lot of green beans and the only ones that we're getting right now are from the provider snap beans over there. Most of the tomatoes are doing pretty good. This is a watermelon beefsteak. This plant is a Crimson Giant from My Gardener. I've never gotten a giant tomato off of these plants. This is my second year growing them, and they just kind of give me average. I get bigger tomatoes off of the triple crop. I also started some beans in here, and it looks like they're getting that rust color fungus or whatever on them, just like the other ones did. So I might actually just be taking those out because I don't really want to deal with that over here. And this is our second year growing the orange jazz tomato, and the second year where it gets these black spots all over it, and they don't look very good, and I end up giving them to the chickens. So I don't know if it's the variety or it just doesn't do well here, but it's my second year growing them, different location, and I'm getting the same exact, whoops. This beefsteak plant just threw a tomato at me. I had a huge orange jazz tomato on here that I harvested yesterday, and I ended up giving it to the chickens because the whole top part of it was rotted. Some of the celery growing. These are the provider snap beans from Fruition Seeds, and they do really, really well. They're just one of my favorites. They produce like picture perfect green beans. I harvested these yesterday. I must have missed this one. That's the Royal Burgundy bean in pots. Those are pretty much done. I'm gonna have to cut those out. It's the end of the summer garden for sure. Lots of things dying. This is our sweet potato bed. I've got beets in here that need to be harvested that should not be in here. And I also have old turnips. This canary bell pepper plant had gorgeous bell peppers on it, and we came back from our camping trip and they were all like rotted. It just melted off the plant. It's disgusting and it smells horrible. Most of them ended up going to the chickens. Overall, our peppers are doing better than they've done in previous years. All of the pumpkin spice jalapenos have this weird growth on the top. I don't know if these are the same seeds I grew last year or if I got a new seed packet. I can't remember. But it's just so weird. They all have it. They all have like an extra head. I don't understand. Golden ball turnips that we started in here sprouted. I also got some celery in here. There's lots of winter squash growing. We have butternut and honey nut. There was a table squash here I ended up taking out because it died. It didn't make it. It was the squash bugs. They did it. I have a warrant out. This is our cucumber bed. There's still some cucumbers. They're looking kind of weird though. They're in that stage now where they're at the end and they're just producing weird looking cucumbers. This is an Abe Lincoln tomato. And this is a disaster. Steve and I already have plans for next year for this bed to make it better. Our crazy cucamelons. Harvested a bowl of these yesterday. And there's a delicata squash in there. I see one black nebula carrot sprouted. And looks like all of the radishes that I put in here sprouted. Here's the other dark green zucchini from Dollar Tree. That's an extremely ripe Chicago pickling cucumber that I need to get out of there so I can harvest the seeds from it. We have baby blue pumpkins that found the deer fencing. And we've been harvesting these baby bear pumpkins. They grew really well, but I think the plant is pretty much done now. And this is the Provider garden beans from Burpee. I think that might be my most favorite way of growing beans so far. We'll see how they produce, but so far I'm liking the setup. I've got more bush beans back here and peas, tomatoes, peppers. Oh, and then these are our peanuts. I think these are going to be ready probably in about a month or so. I can't wait to harvest those and see what those look like. And our Amish paste tomatoes are doing meh. Just not as great as previous years for the tomato plants. I don't feel like taking the fencing down, so I'm going to walk around. This is a State Fair winter pumpkin plant that's starting to show pumpkins. Blackberries, asparagus bed that we're gonna be cutting back soon. Our bean cattle panel trellis. I pretty much have let many of the pods just go to seed. The other bean plant has that rust just from bad airflow because of the really thick air with the humidity. Our fruit trees had it too, and it gets onto the beans themselves. Not really happy with that. I'm debating just cutting the whole thing out. Here's our flower bed. It looks like most of the sunflowers have bloomed and they're just so pretty. That one's very heavy. I'm pretty sure that one's a tiger's eye. I know I keep saying it. I don't know if it is. I'm not sure because there's ones over here that look like the ones that were on the seed packet and don't look like this one. I just don't know if there's maybe the wrong, like one wrong seed in the seed packet, if you know what I mean. I've never bought seeds from that company before. These ones look like the ones that were on the tiger's eye seed packet. So I don't know, but it's a really pretty burnt orange color. And then there's the chocolate cherry sunflower. And we have the ice cream sunflower, giant cactus zinnia in there from Dollar Tree. The mammoth sunflowers are in there, and they're all pretty. I just wish they all bloomed at the same time. And lastly, I'm going to show you our weed garden. This is the world's ugliest strawberry bed. It's just awful. So I have to do so much with this. I'm gonna wait until it's cold and a lot of this dies back, and then we're gonna start over. We'll save the plants, as many as we can. Here's our kiwi vines. I still see the kiwis in there. It's starting to rain. Hopefully I can catch them on camera. There's a couple of them in there. It looks like they're not really growing much more. I might be harvesting those soon. And really quick, I'll show you our Greenstalk. I've got all of this parsley that I started, so I'm gonna be harvesting as much of it as I can You have lemon balm, which smells amazing. I've been using the dill in making pickles. We've got some cilantro here from Dollar Tree. The bush garden beans did very well in the bottom. I just would probably try different varieties next time. And then these are the spoon tomatoes that were free from Baker Creek. And I harvested like 5 of those yesterday. They're really cool looking. Definitely a better year for the Greenstalk than I've had in the past. I've really kept up on making sure things stay planted and taking care of it. Usually I just sow it and forget it. I definitely am interested in possibly getting another one. I wouldn't get it without the spinner on the bottom. Unless you're able to access it completely all the way around, the spinner makes a huge difference. But it is starting to rain, and it's good timing because I pretty much showed you everything. It's been a better pepper year than a tomato year. Some years are better than others, and we haven't done anything different. The weather and the rain play a huge role in it. It's been very cloudy, overcast for a while, smoke cover. There's always next year. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Bye!